Spring's here and the garden's gone wild, but not every plant is here to help. Some are gorgeous, some are sneaky, and a few are totally misunderstood. Let's break down the pros and cons of everything new popping up right now. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss a single bloom. Hi, I'm Bowtie Dave. Hello and welcome to Bowtie Life. This is the outer garden bed tour of our gardens, the Bowtie Gardens here in Destin, Florida. And we invite you to come along and take a look. We did a little tour kind of like this in the front garden. We're going to do something similar in the back garden. It's early spring in Florida. Means one thing: growth everywhere. Some of it planned, some of it wild, and some surprises. In today's video, we'll walk through 9 standout plants, from edible natives to dangerous invaders. And I'll share with you what to grow, what to pull, and what to keep an eye on. And hey, please be sure to comment on which plant surprised you the most on this video. Now, we've had some beautiful weather here in Destin, Florida, and it is just a gorgeous day today, slightly overcast. We're heading into some cooler weather, which is actually going to feel just beautiful. As always, we like to start our outer garden bed tours in the Blackberries, and you can see here the bees are active. They are just loving the flowers. They're all over these plants and just so active. It's beautiful. Now, first up, we have a thornless sawtooth blackberry. It's a native and the berries are delicious. The thornless version is way easier to handle, but be warned, folks, this spreads fast, and you can see it is spread all over this arch trellis, and this isn't even all of it. I've been cultivating this in a few different places in the garden, but we are getting ready for a harvest this year to match last year's, and it was a good one last year. Mrs. Bowtie just made a bunch of jam out of these blackberries, and it's delicious, a little seedy. We're going to have to try to make jelly next time instead of jam. And of course, we're underneath the pomegranates that are just flowering prolifically. This year, I did a really good job of cutting off all the suckers on these pomegranates so that we could have better production. It's an experiment I've been trying out for a couple of years now, and I've noticed that I get better production when I take all those suckers off the bottom of the tree. And you can see here, we have so many flowers. I have not seen this many flowers on these things in 2 or 3 years. In fact, I'm not even sure I've seen this many. You can look across here and see that this thing is very actively producing all over the place. Exciting to see the pomegranates. Now, we covered the pomegranates in the first part of this garden tour. If you haven't seen that yet, go back and look at it. You'll see there's an icon on the side of the screen that indicates there is a link down in the description that you can go to and look at that video. It'll also be linked on the right side at the end screen of this. We also covered the blueberries in that. Of course, then it had a few blooms, but not anymore. These blueberries are getting ready to start growing, and we're going to see some production out of this. I did cut a lot out of this year, some of the larger, older things, and I'm not sure that we're going to get a lot of production, but we will just have to see how it does. Now, folks, this is a brand new one for me, the Benghal dayflower, Comelina bengalensis. The blooms are beautiful, albeit small. This one's sneaky. Benghal dayflower spreads underground and seeds like crazy. If you spot it, pull it out early and keep at it. Another flower that is a weed in the garden is this pink sorrel. We covered this in the first part also, and I'm actually trying to cultivate a little bit of this. I love the little splashes of colors that it leaves all over the property, and I like having it around here and there. So I tend to keep this around. But let's go look at something that we are kind of keeping an eye on for this flower tour. As we come over here to the meadow area, the little strip on the north side of my property that I'm trying to cultivate more wildflowers, we can see here that the bees are loving the activity over here. They're all over the flowers here, and we come down to this thing right here. And a lot of you, of course, know this as comfrey or a prickly comfrey. And it has these beautiful flowers on it this time of year. It's a Symphytum asperum, and these things are just beautiful. They are a lot of green. People use this as a decorative plant. It actually has properties as a medicinal plant. And we grow it for just the beauty of it, for the flowers, because you can take these leaves and you can cut them off and you can use them in the compost and you can use them as mulch in your garden beds. They are so thick and so heavy, they have a tendency to stop things from growing underneath. In fact, if I lift this up, you'll notice very little is growing underneath these leaves. There's some grass under there, but that's about it. A little bit of wood-sorrel, which I don't mind either. So that means this comfrey is a little bit allelopathic, which means it doesn't let other plants grow under it. This one is definitely a powerhouse for soil health. Comfrey, amazing for chop and drop, mulching and composting, but its prickly leaves can be irritating to some, and it spreads like a champ. Keep it in check or in pots. And of course here between our two comfrey plants we have one of our mints. This is one of our new peppermints that we did some punch gardening with. If you didn't see that video, go check it out later. But our mint is just thriving. Look how much it has grown since we punched this thing in the soil, literally. And over here by the bee box, we have a couple of our fig trees that are just looking bold, big, and beautiful. Hoping to have some harvest off of these this year. This is the fig tree that I'm letting grow up. You can see over this edge of the cathedral oak, and then that's the one that is the goblet shape. It's spreading out so much more than all the others because I've been trying to cultivate that. Now folks, right here in the cathedral oak is one of my favorites for pollinators. You've heard me say this so many times. I've been calling this Biden's Alba, which is the genus and species. This is also known as a Romerillo. It's native, resilient, and feeds bees like crazy. You've seen so many of my videos where they've been all over it. It does reseed fast, so cut back before seeds come to maturity to enjoy the benefits without the takeover. And folks, we have a lot of takeover of this plant in our garden. I don't mess with it too much because we can come in here and we can pull these plants very. Now folks, I planted a cluster of Egyptian walking onions back here by the cathedral oak last year, and I thought they had been grown over and taken over, but looky here, we have our Egyptian walking onions back again, and they are starting to grow. I'm going to cultivate these things and let them grow. See if we can get these things back again. I'm so excited to see that. I was trying to get them to grow in a second spot in our gardens so that we would have some backup. And of course right here next to the onion is some more of that Benghal dayflower right there that's so invasive. I like the blue color of it. I might just leave a little bit of this here. Warning, let the gardener beware. And of course back here we have our Loquat hedge that I've been working on. We do have a spare one in a pot over here. This is Here's the first of the 5 trees, the second and the third. These are kind of low, and you'll notice this one over here, this one has exploded. And there's also one back behind there that has exploded as well. Those are the one. This is the one right here that I have topped off. And the day I topped that thing off, this thing just exploded from side to side. I'm so pleased with the way it looks. Next year I know we'll be topping these other 3 trees. Next winter probably, and probably that far one over there that's not there. Our lemon trees right here next to the Loquat hedge, of course, is just looking beautiful, so green, so lush. I think we might actually be having some fruit come in this year. It'll be wonderful if we did. We'll have to see how that happens. These things died off in the Christmas of 22, which was over 2 years ago, and they are coming back. Of course, the watermelon patch has not been planted yet. I just got the compost this very morning, so I will be supplementing these beds, amending them with more nutrients so that we can grow more watermelon this year. Another comfrey plant. This is the one that stays in the full sun, and it is just beautiful. And I wanted to show you, look at this down here. That is just an amazing display of flowers. Very cool. Next to that, we have, of course, our brown turkey fig tree, and look what has happened to it. It has started to lean again. I thought I had solved this, but I'm going to have to work on straightening this thing up again. Very sad about that. So we come on around to the empty arch trellis, and this is where our passion fruit is going to go. Keep an eye out for that video to come out here pretty soon, because we will be planting passion fruit in pots underneath this trellis. Very excited about that. Now folks, we come around to this controversial one, the common milk thistle, Sonchus oleracea. This thistle is actually edible. It feeds beneficial insects and fills disturbed soil, but it doesn't stick around long, and the leaves get tough fast. If you want to eat it, harvest early, because you can see here, this is really tough. And of course, you know me, if it's edible and it's in the garden, I'm going to have to try it. A little prickery on the edges. Let's see what happens. It's leafy. Ugh, not very tasty right now. I think may have gotten it a little bit late. And of course, beyond the arch trellis, we have our new star jasmine on the trunk over here. It's looking gorgeous. Okay, I'm going to try to pronounce this one. Trachelospermum jasminoides. Okay, that's as close as I'm getting. And so you can see it's jasmine, folks. And it is beautiful. I wish we had smell-o-vision because these things smell so strong. They look beautiful. Oh, and the bees are loving them. Everybody's loving these things. So we've already seen the pink wood-sorrel. And yes, in the previous section, I promised I would show you some yellow wood-sorrel. And this is the yellow. It's a very small flower, a very delicate leaf, much smaller features than the other one, but it is about the same size plant. In fact, I believe it may even be grow taller than the pink wood-sorrel, which is kind of interesting, but it is such a beautiful, delicate, just tiny yellow flower. And so there's a whole spread of this yellow wood-sorrel all around this stump back here, kind of venturing over into the neighbor's yard. We may have to work on controlling this. And of course, beyond the wood pile, we have what is going to become the pumpkin patch. And we need to get these things in. The ground is nice and warm and ready for seeds. This soil is good and rich and ready to go. And of course, here's one of my favorite little lizards just sitting here watching the show. So I have come through here and I have cleaned up a few weeds from here, trying to keep this thing dressed. And as I'm looking here, I see something growing up right here. I wonder what that is. It looks like it might be something important. Maybe a cucumber? I don't know. Curious. Maybe I'll just let that grow a little bit longer to see what it does. Yeah, I live dangerously on the side of weeds, people. And we will soon get this corn planted in the far end of this bed right here. I can't wait till that's in, but we have to get the seeds out here. We have to find some time to plant that. And we have our last 4 pomegranates over here. All the suckers have been taken off them. I see a few right over there. Obviously, it's not a new discovery, but I have for myself discovered that if you catch them early like this, they kind of just pop off very easily. So I've been trying to stay a little bit more on top of these, keeping them in control. Here is my one surviving Comfrey from the previous owner, and it was the salvation of my garden because I discovered I still had Comfrey in the garden. I've been cultivating this out, which is why we have other Comfrey plants in the garden, and I plan to have some in the front garden pretty soon as well. This one pomegranate here, which is right up next to 3, not 2, not 1, but 3 lemon trees, is not producing like the others are, and I'm sure it's because it's getting choked out a little bit by these lemon trees. These are Meyer lemons, and they should be growing. Look at the spikes on here. That way, that tells me that these things are not grafted. They are just planted seeds, which is what the previous owner used to do. From what I understand, he would take a cutting, shove it down in the middle of a big branch of aloe, stick it in the ground, and grow a plant. I still haven't done that. I'm going to have to try that one of these days. You can see this pomegranate is doing better. Now, this is the first year these pomegranates have had all their suckers cut. We'll have to see how these do next year. I don't expect as good a production out of these this year, but they're looking okay, actually. Our original rosemary that came from the previous owner that I've been cultivating, we actually cut out 54, count them, 54 cuttings. We'll see in just a minute. There's a video coming out on that in just a few days. So be sure to subscribe to Bowtie Life so you don't miss a thing coming out, and hit that bell notification so you know when our videos come out. But it's that easy. It's very easy to keep this ivy off here. This is a very old plant. You can see down here in this trunk system that this has been here a very, very long time. Of course, we talked about this Florida betony in the front garden with the edible tubers and the roots. These are very cool. This is growing up pretty big, but there are aloe underneath here that I need to rescue, so I'm going to have to pull some of these Florida betony out. Next to that, of course, we have a lemon tree, which actually is, despite the pot, in ground. And it is pretty healthy. We're trying to get this thing to grow back to be one of our main lemon trees one more time. Of course, our Dietes bicolor over here, the grass, the decorative grass, that I still have not separated, broken apart, and planted elsewhere. Yes, one of these days, that's going to happen. Chastise me now. I do want to show you a very exciting development. Right over here behind this irrigation pipe is our papyrus, our umbrella papyrus, and they are really starting to grow. I'm so very excited to see this. I'm going to have to break this apart and get these planted in better soil so that we can get them to grow. This needs to have wet soil, which is why I put it over here next to this irrigation head. There we go. And so it stays moist over here like everything else in this area. And of course, if you look down here in my shadow, there is 54, count them, 54 rosemary plants all cut and sitting in soil, just rooting out right now. Watch them, they're gonna grow. Now between you and me, full disclosure, this is something that I would have pulled out for a weed. And I've never really paid this plant much attention. This is American Everlasting, Gomachieta americana. And this little native, it's a low-growing ground cover that's easy to overlook, but great for pollinators. It's tough, it's drought resistant, and great in wild patches. It may look scruffy, but it's a quiet worker. And of course over here we have one more pot of aloe vera, which I love having aloe vera here. This stuff blooms, this stuff is beautiful, this stuff is also healthy. And of course over here we have a pot of spearmint still, and we have another pot of chocolate mint, people. And I'm very excited that we still have this. This thing has been completely cleaned out, and it was a absolute mess. So now these little chocolate mints have room to grow and to become a whole new system. So we're looking forward to even more chocolate mint to go with all the other chocolate mint in my garden, because I love chocolate mint. We are, of course, down to count them, two Loquat trees. If anybody wants a Loquat tree, please let me know if you're local, and we can arrange to get you some. Now, don't think that those two Loquat trees are the only ones that we have, because if I pan over this way and we look down here in the ground, you know what those two things are that look exactly alike to each other? These are two more Loquat trees that have just grown, volunteered out of nothingness. And of course, there's another one right there. So we have three more Loquat trees that we could cultivate. And you know what? I might just do that. They look pretty good. Considering they volunteered, they may have to be welcome somewhere in someone's garden. And before we come talking about the compost, I do want to show you one more beautiful flower that's coming out in our garden that is beautiful, and that is our southern magnolia trees. People, these things are starting to come out beautifully. The Magnolia grandiflora. And of course, it's an icon, evergreen, fragrant, and powerful, but slow growing and constantly dropping leaves. Give it room and it will reward you in time. So share which ones you grow or avoid. Hit the like if you've ever fought any of these aggressive growers in your garden. So our compost story is changing. We have a new season of compost that's going to be happening for another couple of years, and we're going to be doing some shifting on that. So be sure and stay tuned about where we are getting our compost from and what I'm doing special. Maybe it can help you plan out for your future. But we do have, of course, our new compost bin on this side over here, and in the middle we have our compost from last year that I've been scooping out of and putting it in and on plants that we have planted so far this year. And so this has been kind of a different garden tour this year, as I'm looking around at the flowers that's growing and seeing more and more of the wildflowers that's growing, trying to decide what I'm going to keep and what I'm just going to let develop. I've already decided about the Romerillo or the Biden's Alba, and those have a permanent place in my garden, at least at some scale. So thanks for following along and touring the garden with us here in Destin, Florida, and seeing what's in there. If you saw something you liked, be sure to click that thumbs up. Comment below if you have had experiences with any of these, or if you have any questions for any of these and others as we're growing in our Florida garden. And of course there's more to come, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos where we will continue to talk about our garden and what's happening in it. When it comes to the garden, stay curious, stay rooted, keep growing, and y'all have a blessed day.